What's up, geeks and gamers? My name is Drementfh, and welcome to Thorium Gaming, and we're back with Nightly Valor, our attempts to bring the light of the Lady of the Lake to the entirety of the old world. So over the last few episodes, we've been having some problems down in the south, over in Araby. The forces of chaos kind of abandoned their siege on Al-Haik, which is kind of nice for us. And we've got Dwarven and Imperial reinforcements headed towards Ferris. Hopefully they'll deal with some of the chaos stacks for us. But it's not a big deal right now, because we've got other things to work on. So of course, Lord Yogi is coming back towards Magritta, and we got Phoenix and Phoenix and Grimaldis sitting at Magritta itself to kind of defend our southern shores. King Lewin is headed back up north, and we're either going to assault the Druki on Ulthuan, or the Chaos forces that are kind of rampaging through there. Give our Elven allies some help. And Adadon himself, now that I got the name right, is headed back towards Corone to replenish his troops so he can go out and take on this mysterious island. So we don't really have much that we can do for the start of this turn. I mean, we still have the Wood Elves over here in the forest. We're kind of at odds with them, but we're improving slightly. So we're just going to have to hold back and wait and see what happens with the Elves. And out in the east, we do have a couple of settlements still. We have Iron Rock and Barrack de Wazbag, but we're not really doing much with them. So let's just hand it over to the other nations for the start of this turn, and we'll see where things are going to go. The Empire and its massive armies, they are moving forces to the northeast, which leads me to be wary of chaos invasions from this sector. So we know the Ratmen are doing some evil stuff. Hoping that army is there to help out the Kislevites. Though they're still at war with the dwarves as far as I remember, which is not necessarily a good situation for anyone involved. And now Balthazar Gelt is headed towards the Southlands too. We'll see how that ends up working out for everything. There's my squeaky chair again, of course. Let's see if I can fix it so it's not squeaking the entire video. And Volkmar the Grim headed up north too. Wonder if he's going to go help against the Skaven Ratmen that are up there. Lots of Imperial forces moving around. Their armies are just massive and incredibly high-tech. Great swords and rocket batteries for days. So we'll see how that ends up going. We're going to have to replenish our own troops, and we are still tight on cash because, well, when the update happened, we lost all of our knightly vows, and that's especially hurtful in the king's case because he has Pegasus Knights, and they're not exactly cheap to maintain. Well, they're not cheap to maintain when you don't have the Knight's Vow, at the very least. But our soldiers and our lords are starting to get a little bit more inclined towards that, so we'll see how it goes. And the Dawi, they are still at war with the Wood Elves, so I wonder if they're going to fight the Wood Elves overtly. And Belgar Ironhammer is headed that direction, but we don't know for sure if he's actually going to engage the Wood Elves. The Wood Elves are a very, very, very ranged focused army, and that Dwarven army, while Dwarven armies can be very ranged, is a lot more close combat, especially with all those Iron Drakes. So I think that he'd lose in a straight up fight against any of the Wood Elven armies, especially if they gang up on him 2 to 3 to 1. But we'll have to see. And we get our first look at a Chaos Lord moving in. We do have a hero up there, kinda causing issues for them. Hopefully these ground forces are not able to push too hard. And they've got their aspiring champions and other things going around. If Prague falls, which would be fitting for the entire storyline of the old world, Prague has been assaulted many times, it would definitely reduce the defenses on the northern border for everything that we could possibly do. High Elves, of course, they're kind of in a tricky spot right now. Beyond just the Druki invasions, they have Chaos invasions on their shores. The Shrine of Cain is lost right now, and it looks like Morathi is probably going to go back towards one of the other places. I have no idea where Morel is going to go. It's almost like she's abandoning Ulthuan in favor of other assaults. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Eldorain, though, could possibly go in and engage the Chaos Hordes. He has a lot of Phoenix Guard, and they are very effective against Chaos Warriors, even though they have full plate. We do know that the Everqueen is back up and leading an army, but we have not seen Tyrion nor Teclis for a while. We know Teclis was injured by Morathi a few rounds ago, so it could take him a little bit longer to get back into the fight. And we have a Hexwaddle army that we could see. We're not going to join the war against the Court of Liberus right now. Sorry, Last Defenders and Krokgar. We can't do that at the moment. We do not have the troops to spare to help you out. Besides, you have lots of big dinos and temple guards, so you should be fine. Now, if logic was on the side of these particular bands of lizardmen, they would gather their armies up and fight the Tomb Kings. Saurus warriors are pretty effective against the skeleton warriors of the Tomb Kings. But we'll see how it works out. I mean, Krokgar has those two ancient Stegodons and a lot of heroes, so it's not impossible that they could do a lot. They have tons of heroes in every one of their armies, which is a little odd, but does happen. We'll see if the Court of Liberus actually does anything to counter this. I do like the way the Dark Elf Assassins have been modeled up in the game, both their character portraits and their models themselves. They're pretty intriguing and interesting. I do like that. The skull masks depicting Cain are awesome. Most of the legendary lords, too, are very, very well done. It seems Morathi is going to quit Ulthuan. And whatever this Druki lord is might as well. And there is a Pestilent Scheme Priest. He's going to probably spread the plague, which is going to hurt Toran like pretty badly. There's an army with a lot of scorpions, but we don't know what Cetra is going to do with them. Bone Giants, Scorpions, a lot of their Sepulture Stalkers. Why would you move down there? You can't win that fight. It's just like offering the Cetra bonuses up to another Tomb King army. We don't know what they're exactly doing there. But if the Kemrians want to go for Kofir, I'm not really all that worried about it. We just have to start winning some fights against those that we have our errantry wars or whatever they are called against. See how that works out in the end. And Krokgar might get injured here. In fact, he probably will. Though that's going to hurt the Court of Liberus' strength a fair bit. Not as much as I was expecting, to be honest. The followers of Nagash, who are pretty much stuck in their little corner now. They do have their pyramid still, I believe, the Wizard Caliph's palace, but they are very, very weak by comparison. And our Carrick Ziflin allies, be probably wise to pull back those guys, since you lost a massive army over on the ocean. And Pavel of the Ice, are you going to run towards... Well, you're not going to run towards Prague. Apparently they want to fight or something. And it looks like there was one set of orcs and goblins that weren't completely wiped out, just the northern ones. So these are all of the remaining orcs and goblins for the entirety of the old world right now. Though with how orcs and goblins proliferate, just because the orcs are gone doesn't mean they're gone. They are fungus after all. That's a Grey Seer, Morlock. He's probably going to get in close and possibly fight the Imperial army. Or not. That's a little surprising, to be honest. And this is what I was kind of expecting for Cetra to get beaten down by the Rakaf dynasty. Why he would set up there is beyond me. We really don't stand a chance against these guys, so we're just gonna auto-resolve the loss. They can tear down Ferris. If they go after El Haik, we might have a bit better of a chance, especially if our Imperial and Dwarven allies manage to get in on the fight. Let's see what the Servants of Chaos are going to do. With any luck, they'll take Marathi out on the ocean. Or they may just go for Tor Anlek. If we could capture Tor Anlek, that would be awesome. Give us a pretty solid base over there. And the Blackbeard and Mid of Nagash has gone. Ooh, minus control but better growth. I think we're gonna have to go with the tribute. And the Sentinels have re-emerged, so it's not a bad thing. Now we've got Lady Ryan, who is an immortal right now. We can finish off getting her up towards the Comet of Cassandora.
By the light of the lady.
Move the king up towards the coastline here.
My journey begins. It's our
And
legend.
Furix, we're gonna get you to continuously assault these guys.
Noble son of Bretonia.
Don't think I got him a level. That's okay. Let's check on our other troops. We know Adadon has to come
Do you know who
back
I am?
right up tight to Corone, and then we'll get him in an encampment stance
If you insist.
to really get his troops rolling back towards full health. Down on the coast, we have Yoki.
Hyas. Taking my lead.
Ooh, that's a longer route than I was expecting.
Leading.
Get him there, and on his next turn he can swap over to an encamp stance, and that will be pretty decent for us. Extra 50 crowns per turn, more iron for trade, and +1 rank for foot squires and everything. I don't think they can do much there. Skaven Blight, on the other hand, can we set up a chapel there? No, we'll have to do it next turn. We do want to get a chapel here. That will be a big thing. Right now, we're mostly just kind of in a holding pattern.
Defender of the weak.
But we do want to
True knight of Bretonia.
be as annoying as possible to all of the forces of chaos. Hopefully hold on to El Haik. So losing that would be a fair bit of crowns that would be going away. We're still making good coin overall. How are our troops here looking?
My strength and wisdom are yours.
Grimaldis, and what did we set for your vow? Right. Pledge to chivalry, rank up 5 times. Not sure if these two armies together are strong enough to take on one of the Chaos armies. So I think we're just going to hold for now. It's kind of a bit of a holding pattern. But we'll allow the other nations to go, and we'll talk over it, of course, just to see what we can end up doing. Supreme Patriarch is still moving by land. There's the Reichsmarshal. He's the one that's going to be helping Prague, I think. Or he could just bypass Prague and go to an ambush. Maybe he's waiting for those two land-bound Chaos armies. That might be an effective tactic too. Balthazar Guilt moving in. Having that kind of magical might on the field would be great. What's Volkmar gonna do? He's moving up towards the north as well. I think he's stopping at cities to add his anti-corruption bonuses to them all. And we have Imperial troops in Araby. They've just got so many armies, it's kind of amazing to see. Not really sure exactly what the Empire's plan is, but as long as they're putting troops on the field and possibly distracting the forces of chaos, that's good. Be nice if we could start assembling some armies like this. Full stacks just going out, having a little bit of fun at other people's expense. Probably not next turn, but the turn after we'll be able to send Aedidon back out. So, it's not entirely beyond the realm of possibility to have a good fight this episode. See how it works. And are the dwarves going to land on Fyrus too? Ungrim Iron Fist. Slayer King himself is going to come over and give us a hand. And it really looks like Baelgar is going after the Wood Elves. I don't exactly know what their plan there is, but this does make sense. And there's Malagor the Dark Omen. The Beastmen just constantly show up and cause problems. I've not actually done a Beastmen playthrough yet, so I might have to do that in my own time. They're an interesting horde-style army. Malagor might be my choice. It's either him or... not Kazrak One-Eye. There's another one. It's the Beast Lord Warrior type. I do tend to favor warriors over Magi or the ones that are more aligned with certain lore backgrounds. This could get ugly for the Reichsmarshal that's there. Norska's been pretty quiet, which is nice. Looks like we had a officer change there. Scython Urel. Getting Tor Anlek. That's not exactly a bright idea. Rictus has a Plague Priest right there, which means her army is going to be infected just as much as the city is. It's going to reduce their troop totals over time. Maybe another war against Norska, because the elves look like they're starting to get their act together and are preparing to defend Ulthuan at last. They do own a lot of the Southlands, all the way down in the bottom left corner of the map here. But that's because they confederated with the Order of Lore Masters, which gave them Teclis. And the Order of Lore Masters had a fair bit of territory already claimed. The Order of Lore Masters is a far, far harder starting position than simply the other two, well, other three, I should say. It would be interesting to see Krokgar actually bring out some small elite style armies instead of these small average armies. Red Crested Skink Chief would be awesome they're not that great. I mean, the Red Crested Skinks themselves make a great watershed unit. Great weapons are good versus heavy armor and other things like that. But at the same time, they're not exactly tough. They are skinks, so you can use them to slow things down. It's a bit of a swamp style unit. There's Hagreen. I believe that's the first sorceress that Nagaron gets. Not entirely sure. I'm really amazed that the Cult of Pleasure and Nagaron haven't confederated yet. And there we go. Spread Plague. So, doing that. There's Tretch Craventail. Whenever you're playing, do not trust Tretch at all out on the map. He actually gains bonuses by breaking alliances and trade orders and all that sort of stuff. Which makes him an unreliable ally at the very best. See what the Kemrians are going to do. And he now has a Kemrian War Sphinx. So that's bad for our friends in the Last Defenders. Let's see if the Court of Liberus follows through. Looks like they're going to. And they're not taking back Liberus, which is their namesake. It's a little odd. That puts the Last Defenders, well, on the defensive. So they're going to have to live up to their namesake now. Who would have thought that the Southlands would take on such a vibrant battle scene? Expect that kind of stuff in Lustria, but not in the southern jungles. That's a lot of hammerers and a lot of iron breakers. Dwarven heavy units, and they're awesome. It's nice because they get a hand axe throw before they get into melee, and just a little bit of extra damage slows the enemy down, makes them reconsider their full-on charge. We'll see what this engineers or this Grey Seer is going to do. Ironic that they have 13 turns left on the Siege of Prague, because 13 is a holy number for the Ratmen. The Council at 13, 13 plagues, 13 aspects of the Great Horned Rat. I think all of those are correct. Now with any luck, we will see some Imperial / Dawi action on the forces down here. And that's a large chunk of chaos just gone. But it does still leave the Servants of Chaos, who have at least 2 armies around here and 1 up north. Let's see what they end up doing. This is one situation where I'm actually rooting for the Forces of Chaos. Marathi is one of the first heretics, the first worshippers of Slanesh, in the old world. So, watching her get beat down by her masters, it's kind of nice. That weakened the rebels, or the Clan Mulder. So we get our decree, and Yelena has completed her troth. So has Adadon.
Devotee of the lady.
Let's go into her vows. Win a battle at sea, win a battle in desert or jungle, defeat a beastman greenskin or dark elf legendary lord. Let's go with Manan for her troth of wisdom. And for Adadon, we're going to do the same because he's going to be fighting out there.
Valiant lord.
What's this? There we go. The campaign one, same thing. Pledge to Manan, and he'll get his questing vow, which will definitely help out once his forces have recovered slightly more. I guess they're actually pretty tough as is.
It shall be so. Sallying for.
So Adadon, take to the seas, and we will get you your questing vow at the mysterious island.
My reputation precedes me.
Lord Yogi,
For now.
we're going to go into an encamp stance. Before we do anything with you, though, we're going to go to Skaven Blight, throw down our chapel, reduce the Skaven corruption there. But now,
Honor before
we
glory.
can get you some infantry. We still have lots of infantry slots left open. Could get you some Grail Knights here, but that would be a really expensive upkeep. So instead, I think we're just going to go with some basic infantry for you. A couple of units of spears, a couple of swords. That should be fine. Won't tax our income too much. However,
I will
Phoenix
indulge you.
and Grimaldis, we are going to get you guys to head south.
Glory awaits.
You both have the blessing of the lady. And if we can get you back down south and start dealing with the stuff down here, that would be great. Hopefully Phoenix can still afford to assault the units here.
Paladin of Bretonia.
There we go. And we'll give him hard to hit. He is on a Pegasus. And Thibaut Dubois, who is also ranked up. We'll give him Foe Seeker for now.
None shall
See if he can assassinate that Chaos Hero, which is good. What was his vow at? Oh, he's still gotta level up. Oh, he's gotta do 3 more agent missions. That's fine. And for our technology, High Elves and Lizardmen, Diplomacy of Men, Empire, Kislev and Southern Realms, Tomb Kings. A lot of our decrees are kind of not useful anymore. But if we go with regular tournaments, it's 10 terms though. And we do have some people that are doing technology for their upgrades, but we'll go with regular tournaments. And SAR PC, you are so far away from the Grail Vow, but we'll give you immortality.
King Lewin Leoncoeur.
And we'll move King Lewin. I was about to say we can move him to a different spot, but we're going to want to still launch from here. So we can go towards the Shrine of Cain or Tor Anlek, depending on what the Chaos Forces up here do. Alright, let's see what the other nations do, and we'll get on with it. And the Empire took Fierce, which is not bad. It's not great for us, but it's not bad. the Empire won against 2 Chaos armies up there. Almost like they had great swords in abundance or something. Do not get what the Empire is trying to do with some of its forces. But we'll just have to wait and see. With Talea out of the picture, the Empire is sitting pretty in a lot of places. We're gonna have to start really pushing to fight off some of these things. Phoeniux and Grimaldis might actually have to go to war with the Tomb Kings. Which would be tough, no word of a lie, but might have to be done. The Dawi are being the Dawi. Maybe they'll pull that army, one of those armies back and deal with the beastmen that are kind of out front of their home. Can't be too sure. The dwarves have been a little bit erratic this entire campaign. It's nice to see Ungrim coming down to give us a bit of a hand, chasing down some chaos. The Warriors of Chaos are much diminished. They gotta have a third army stack somewhere, and that's probably the last of their forces. But wherever that is still yet to be seen. Alright, High Elves, what do you got for us? You could wipe out one of the Chaos armies, that works. Wipe out the Druki army. Looks like Ulthuan's gonna get secured. Which means we may be altering our plans with the king to head up to Norska instead of going over and helping our elven allies, because they have all but one structure on Ulthuan now. The Ever Queen has just been kind of sitting there chilling, doing pretty much nothing for a while now. You know, I don't really mind being smaller than the Empire and the Dwarves. With the new changes that came to Bretonnia, it's a lot easier to expand and become the superpower off the bat. But given how things have gone since the change, we're starting to accelerate our plans. It's just a lot easier to start off as Corone or the Fey Enchantress or the Disciple of Manan, whose name is escaping me right now. It's on the western shore. Maybe we'll see it as we fly over top and it'll jog my memory. So I wonder, With the Shrine of Cain decimated, and Marathi having been defeated while holding the Sword of Cain, I wonder if she still has it, or if it gets returned to the shrine. We know that the elves can use it, both High Elf and Dark Elf. Don't know if the Wood Elves can. Cool if they could, but they're mostly a ranged army. Wonder if we took the Shrine of Cain, if we could take the sword. That would definitely be an interesting situation, having a human holding the Sword of Cain. Still kind of waiting on the Tomb Kings to do something. All of the nation's Tomb Kings. Not too sure what their plan is in general, but they're undead. They've had a long time to plan, so we'll see if they actually have a master plan or if they're just kind of messing with us. It's amazing how many high-tech units are starting to appear in these armies. Those are hammerers and ironbreakers. I know I mentioned it on our last turn when that army started moving, but those are really tough units. Fully grommel-plated dwarves with giant hammers, and the Guardians of the Deep Roads all in an army. That's a little nasty. Some fancy warp tech in that army. Some storm vermin, some other things. Morlock's army just got devastated. So the Doomed Kingdoms performed the Invocation of Kasar, however you want to pronounce it. So anyone going through their territory is going to suffer attrition. Curious to see where this army stat goes. We're gonna burn down Xandri, which killed our trade agreement with Khemri. That kind of sucks. And Iglixis? Starting to move in. He's probably not going to last long, though. Vagnaratep. And the Silver Host emerges. It's great.
Protector of the realm. Lord.
Right, let's see if we can get Phoenix close enough.
Onward.
So they can fight in a
Noble.
two-person battle. Let's see.
Moving out.
If we have to wait, we have to wait. And just get the minor. Never mind. And we got a Trickster Shard.
Blessings of the Lady be upon you. I go thither. My strength and wisdom are yours. Going forth.
Go full speed and try and get you guys down to the coast over here so you can start fighting.
My reputation precedes me.
Yogi, we are going to get you in some archers. And I think we're going to go with flame archers for you. Should be a good setup to start with.
Protector of the realm.
And Lord Adadon,
It shall be so.
let's go after that mysterious island. So we got favorable winds, some gold and other things. We make you
Blessings of the
full
Lady
speed.
be upon you. Striking
we can get you out of the way there. So we'll send you up to cause some havoc for the Norskins. We'll alter where King Lewin is headed, up towards Corone again.
You seek the lady's favor.
Since it doesn't look like we're going to get involved on the fight over on Ultuan.
Knightly valor.
Yes, Phoenix, that is the title of the series. We're going to have you go over and cause some
Destroy the faithless.
problems for Norska.
Absurd.
And Thibaut de Bois, we're going to have you chasing down the Chaos Forces so we can just see where they are. We could upgrade Iron Rock, but we don't need to right now. Just going to keep our coin. That's probably a good place to end it this week, guys. So if you enjoyed the video, please consider hitting that like button. If you'd like to join up with the 232, be in one of these Let's Plays, just hit that subscribe button and make sure you turn your notifications on so you don't miss when a new video goes out. And remember guys, life is a game, so play to win. And until next time, take care.